Hey guys, Coach Logan here. I thought for this video we could do some Chesskid puzzles, just like we tell you kids to do. We're gonna practice what we preach and do some puzzles. So let's get started. Okay, so first things I notice in this position. So I'm thinking right away about rook takes a6. That hits the queen. There's this loose rook behind it. Where's the queen gonna go? It can't go back to b2 or anywhere to defend that rook. We do have to keep an eye out, like white has this sort of discovered attack threatened on our queen, but I don't see anything good to do with it, and rook takes a6 is pretty forcing. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that on the board. Rook takes a6. Okay, knight back to b3. We take his queen. He takes our queen. But then, for instance, we could play rook takes b3, and I think we're just up a piece there. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to play rook takes a1 because they take on f8 with check. We take and the knight takes back on a1, and they keep the material balance. We don't want to play rook takes d8 because they just take us and keep it balanced, but instead we play rook takes b3, and we're finishing here ahead minor piece. So that one wasn't too bad. Let's do the next one. Okay, what do we notice here? There's a lot of pressure on e6. This one's definitely tougher than the last one, but let's see here. So I'm thinking about if knight takes e6, that's quite forcing. I think they're going to play f takes e6. Then this one's tough. Then I think we can play bishop takes e4. Okay, that's very clever. So knight takes e4. Sorry, knight takes e6. F takes e6. Then bishop comes backwards to take on e4. Black can't take with the d pawn because the rook takes the queen. And if they take with the knight, we have queen takes e4, and then their queen is the pawn is pinned to their queen. Okay, that's tricky. All right, so I think it starts with knight takes e6, f takes e6, now bishop coming backwards to e4, and then after knight takes, we can play queen takes e4, with the point being that this is pinned. Tough, tough. You have to see a bishop going backwards in that. I always tell that to the kids. That's tough. Bishops go backwards. Okay, how about this one? First thing I'm trying to do is make some sort of knight fork happen. Well, let's see here. tricky. The king is quite exposed. Rook takes b2 check. King takes h3. H takes g4 check. If they take, maybe we have f5. Yeah, I'm thinking I like rook takes b2 as a starting move. Okay, and now, well, my first instinct was h takes g5 check. Yeah, I think we gotta do that. Sorry, h takes g4. I've been saying h takes g5. And now, I think I like queen to e5 check. Okay, now we can decoy them, right? Picks up the queen. Okay, it's tricky. I'm not sure, honestly, I'm not sure I can explain every sequence in that. I feel like there were some where I was kind of going on feel that I think their king just would have gotten in trouble, but yeah, good enough. Okay. Okay, what do we got here? Right. There's rook takes g4 check. All right, so white's up in exchange, but we have a rook, a knight, and a bishop swarming their king. Potentially some loose pieces from them. If we start with the rook takes g4 check, we're forking the king and the bishop. Now they can play. Doesn't that just fork the king and the bishop? What are they even going to do after that? Okay, that's got to be the starting move. I'm going to put that on. Rook takes g4 check. Okay, now there's some question as to how we should take this. Should it be with the knight or with the rook? One thing we do need to keep an eye on is white playing rook to h2. I think that was their big idea, is the king goes backwards, and now rook to h2 is threatened in a lot of these lines, which would be checkmate, or lead to checkmate pretty shortly. So we need to be precise. We have, let's see, we have rook to g1 and some lines at our disposal. We also have, actually, I think I like this. We start with rook h4 check. Yeah, okay, that does it. Rook h4. I was trying to figure out a way to mate them, but that's totally unnecessary. We just went material. We just needed to do it cleanly. Okay. All right, b4. What's going on here? So our king feels under attack. We are up a piece, though. So maybe we just need a way to escape with our extra material. Want to bring a rook to d8. Which rook is always the question. I think probably rook a to d8, because if we play rook h to d8, then we have to start worrying about some annoyance with queen to h7. Okay, so say we play rook a to d8 check. Not check. Rook a to d8 hitting the queen. I don't see a check for them. Yeah, I think this does it. Rook a to d8. Okay, knight to d4 I didn't consider. Should have. I can't get away with rook takes d4 because they have queen takes d4. And we don't have a good decoy there. Like, if queen, it would be nice if queen takes d1 worked, but they unfortunately have queen back to d1. So rook take... Well, rook takes d4 is actually still interesting, because if we play rook takes d4, queen takes d4, another consideration, odd as it may look, would be to play queen back to c6, which threatens mate, and also breaks the pin. Yeah, I think I kind of like that, actually. That's tricky. Okay, but I kind of like rook takes d4, and now, so basically we want to take this queen with our bishop, but we're pinned. But we have this nice way to unpin ourselves with queen to c6, which threatens mate on this long diagonal. I was trying to figure out a way to make that factor into this problem. Okay, so they're just going check. All right, well, and after all the dust settles, we end up a piece. I mean, they can take our bishop, but we're staying up a piece. Okay, so that one was tricky, but we got it. Okay, this might be the last one we get to, in just in terms of time. But I'm sure this will be hard, since whenever you get a bunch in a row correct, they up the ante on you. So, okay, so what's going on here? There's endgame ones are always tricky, but this feels like one where we're sort of swarming their king. 3 is kind of a magic number. If you've got 3 attacking pieces near their king, that's, especially if they don't have too many defenders near them, that can sometimes be enough. So, okay, so if we start with... I'm almost thinking about starting with a quiet move, like knight f3, which just keeps the king really in a kill zone, which would threaten bishop h3 mate. So then what can they do after that? So if knight f3... bishop e2, maybe they play bishop e2. Excuse me. Check. Yeah, see, I really don't want to let their king just sort of run to safety over this way if we try to get them under an attack. So that's why I was trying to keep them there. Oh, our rook's being attacked. Wow, wow, slow day for me. Okay, so our rook is being hit on a2 there. Okay, so say we start then. So I think we have to start with some sort of check. So bishop h3 possibly. Bishop h3 check, king, I'm going to guess they run towards e1, so king to e1, knight to f3 check, king will go to d1, just feels like they're escaping. Okay, I'm about to run out of time on the video length that I can record, so I got to put something down, but this is, honestly, I don't see this one yet. I just feel almost by process of elimination, we got to start with bishop h3 check. Now there's some issue of maybe I should go knight to g2 check, because then if they play king to g1, I could continue, sorry, king to d1, I could continue with knight to e3 check. Okay, so maybe that's the key. Maybe I need to now do this check. Yeah, okay, I was looking at the wrong check. All right, and then knight to e3 check. Yeah, okay, and I'm hitting this bishop. All right, that wasn't actually so hard. I think I'm just tired. Anyway, video's about to wrap, so I'll see you guys next time.